Jason Aldean, what's up, dude?
What's up, man? How are you?
Doing really good. Welcome back to the party here. So we were just talking off the air about AI stuff. I didn't realize people were faking AI Jason Aldean things.
Yeah, man. I'll be scrolling through TikTok or something, and I'll hear somebody putting out some video of some song that I sang that I know I didn't. And, some of them sound pretty bad. And then a couple of them I've heard it sounds pretty close. So it's that AI thing is
That's
a little scary, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I would think that if I'm a new artist, especially somebody who's trying to get established, I would be really afraid of AI. Because if you saw what they did with the Randy Travis thing, using James Dupre, and his voice and replacing it and putting Randy's in and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, oh, man. That's scary. Because,
It is.
I mean, if I'm a Jason Aldean fan, I could have Jason Aldean sing any song I want. Oh, it's Jason Aldean singing the Beatles. It's Jason Aldean doing Elvis. It's really a slippery, and that phrase comes up all the time, a slippery slope.
Yeah, and I know the state of Tennessee has taken some steps to try and protect artists and stuff from that already. And I just I hope more of that kind of comes out. I mean, I think, it possibly could be used for some really cool stuff, down the road or whatever. But it's like anything, man. Too much of a good thing is not a good thing. So.
Yeah, like autotune.
Yeah.
Like, the same thing. Because I feel like sometimes people can over autotune things, and you're like, oh, it just kind of took the life out of it a little bit. And sadly, AI takes all of the life out of it.
Yeah, literally all of it. So, it's scary, man. We'll see what happens. But it's wild when you're going through and now I saw a thing where Patrick Mahomes was after a game one day, and he was doing a press conference, and it was when Kadarius Toney had dropped a bunch of passes or something, and they had made it sound like Mahomes was ripping him apart in the press conference, and Mahomes definitely didn't say that stuff. So It's just those kind of things, man, where it's like if you're not paying attention, people a lot of times will look at something, and
the
not
fact
really
that you
dig
have to watch
into
a
it.
45-second video on TikTok and then do 6 hours of Googling to
Yeah.
see if it happens.
That's really happening, because you're going to find, that's the weird thing, you're going to find the things that, yes, he did say this about Kadarius or whatever it may be. And that's the crazy thing, is that as anybody in the public eye, you are now going to be susceptible to people taking your voice, because there's so many interviews of you talking.
For sure.
Where they can make you say whatever they want you to say.
And I think the way it works is they just drop in a few words that you actually say or sing or however you would do it, and then it just generates it like that. It's wild.
We tried it early on. We tried to do a AI version of us. It was terrible. I mean, it was it didn't sound too off, but the delivery, the pacing, and all that
The
kind of stuff
emotion wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, you take the human element out of it. I mean, that it's not going to be the same.
Well, speaking of human element, we want to make sure that everybody knows: keep your boys country. Not only keep them country, but let them be country, because that's the song we're pushing right now. We're going to play it. Jason Aldean is our guest in the studio. Hang on, we're coming right back. Jason Aldean, let your boys be country. How's Brittany doing after the fall?
She's good, man. We, she's going to be in a little cast for the next probably month or so. But,
fill people in and let them know, because not everybody knows what happened.
Yeah, so we had just, before my tour kicked off, we just decided to go over to Europe and take a little vacation over there. And so we were in Switzerland, and they have this thing called the funicular, and it's basically a train or kind of like a gondola or something that goes up the side of the mountain up to our hotel. And so we were getting off of it, and it has some really steep stairs going down, and she had on like these combat boot things, and she kind of slipped, and I had her with one arm, but when she kind of went down the stairs, she tried to hold on to the railing, and when she did, her pinky just basically did a 90-degree, it went 90 degrees and broke the bone in the side of her hand.
So she was only holding the rail with her pinky?
Pretty much, and then
Ouch.
it just grabbed it and snapped it. Hey, she's tough, man. She toughed it out in Europe, and we just wrapped it up. I think I taped it to a phone case or something for a day. And,
that was the split.
Yeah, man. So we just went out, and she kept rocking, and just kind of dealt with it until we got back to the States, and then we went and had it X-rayed and all the stuff, and said it was broken. So she's in a little a little cast for the next month, but should be fine.
I say it all the time. Back whenever I was doing a lot of the firefighter stuff, we would respond to people falling downstairs almost, once or twice a week at least minimum.
Yeah.
I was going to say almost every day, but it wasn't as bad. But people don't realize you can get hurt going up the stairs. I've responded to people falling upstairs.
I have fallen upstairs.
Yeah.
I've done that.
It
and
happens.
sober, too.
And so,
I couldn't even blame alcohol for that.
I know this sounds crazy, but you know what? If you're around stairs, hold the rail with more than your pinky.
Yeah.
Don't just put your hand on the top of the rail and rub it.
Yeah.
Put your fingers on the back side of it.
Yeah, she had it. It's just when she went down the steps, it just happened to grab.
It caught her pinky.
Her body was going forward and her pinky grabbed it and it just
Ow.
it snapped it. But
well, that's ouch. All right. Jason Aldean's our in-studio guest. Let Your Boys Be Country is the song that we're pushing today. Everybody go stream it as much as possible. Watch the video, the whole thing, do everything because Jason needs another number one.
Yes.
We're coming right back. Hang on. Jason Aldean is our guest in the studio. Let Your Boys Be Country. Everybody loves that song, and everybody loves your tribute that you did to Toby Keith. I want to bring that up. I know it's been a while since the ACM Awards, but that was really cool. Whose idea was it to do it? Did they approach you, or did you say, hey, I'd like to perform, but if I do, I'd like to do something for Toby?
They, the ACMs actually came to me and asked me, to come and be a part of the show and do a tribute for Toby. That was kind of how it started. And, and I just wanted to do something cool for him. I mean, I know that, it hadn't been that long since he had passed away. And I don't know, man. I had got a chance to hang out with Toby back in October. He came out to my show, got on stage with me and played and hung out backstage. And, it was one of those things where, I remember that night, me and my band were just kind of thinking like, man, this might be the last time this happens. It's just, you could just tell like he looked okay, but he didn't look great. And he was still, wanting to get out there. And in those times, man, you're just hoping like some miracle happens and whatever. But I had a feeling that night that, that might be the last time that I definitely got to play with him and probably would see him. And so, I wanted to go and pay tribute to him and his career, and he had obviously an iconic, legendary career, and I just wanted to make sure that we, did something for him that honored that type of a career. And so, doing the song the same way that everybody's done it forever, I didn't think was going to really make that much of an impact. So we just kind of wanted to put our spin on it and kind of slowed it down. And the ACMs kind of told us what they wanted to do as far as having the pictures and things of his career. And so we just kind of came up with a version of chord, that would kind of work with that. And,
right.
and it was really cool, man. His wife texted me that night after the show and, thanked me for doing it and kind of gave me their stamp of approval, which was, for me was all I needed. So it was great, man. I'm glad I had a chance to do it and just, honor him.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I mean, we all knew that he was sick, but I thought maybe even it was a week and a half before we had talked to somebody. They're like, "Oh no, he's doing good. He's recovering. He's great." And so whenever the news came out, I was just in shock. I think for 24 hours, like disbelief. Like, I just heard he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, my wife, she woke me up that day and goes, "Hey, just letting you know, Toby passed away this morning or whatever." And I said, I just immediately sat up and I was just like, I kind of knew it was coming. I just didn't know when, like I hoped it wouldn't, but I kind of had a feeling that it was going to come at some point. And it's just a sad day, man. I started playing clubs in the early days, playing, should have been a cowboy and all those things when I was getting started. And, it's sad when you tour with a guy and you kind of, you feel like you've known this guy forever, even though I haven't. I've known him probably over the last 15, 20 years or so. But, I came up in the clubs even way before that, playing his stuff. And
well, if you listen to their music, you feel like you know their heart. It's the same way with you, with anybody coming up. You know, whoever your favorite artist is, you feel like you're connected because of the. I mean, you see it. You do meet and greets, and people are like, Jason Aldean, your song saved my life. I mean, how many times do you hear that?
Yeah, I don't know with my songs how many times that happens, but no, I know what you mean. And with Toby, it was like that, man. It was just like, here's a guy that I'd had a chance to tour with, and that I was a fan of before I ever met him and got into business and did all those things. And then, somehow this guy that I was playing his songs when I got started in the clubs, somehow now I'm touring with the guy, and now I'm friends with the guy. And he's, it's just like this really cool journey that, like, I don't know, man. It was a sad day for me when he passed away.
It was sad for everybody. And, Toby was an icon. And one of the things that I, want to say is, whatever your thing is, whether it's music or you're a construction guy or a bank teller, whatever your legacy is up to you.
Yeah.
And Toby left us a really great legacy. There was a lot of high points, a lot of low points, a lot of good, a lot of crazy, but it definitely made himself memorable. And, you want to make sure to also let those you love know you love.
Yeah.
Tell people constantly, hey, look, I love you.
The one thing I respected about Toby so much, though, is that whether you liked his opinion or you didn't like his opinion or you agreed with it or didn't agree with it, at least you knew where he stood on things. You know what I mean? He wasn't going to...
Kind of like you.
Yeah. Well, I take a lot of that from him. I mean, he's a guy that I look at and go, hey, I like the way he did it. Like, he didn't play the game. Just, it's like, he's still going to be himself and stand for things that he stands for, and you may not like it, but at least you know what you're getting. And I always appreciated that about him and respected that for sure.
Jason Aldean is our in-studio guest. Thank you, man. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully, Let Your Boys Be Country becomes #1 again. And how many would that make?
I think 29.
29 is what we're setting up.
That's insane.
Luke likes to brag and tell me he's got 30. So I just want to catch him. I just need one more than him, and then we're good.
All right. Jason, thanks for coming by. Good seeing you, as always.
Appreciate it, man.
Take care, man.
Well, because over the years, teenage kids have told you to like and subscribe, we don't have to say that anymore.
You know what to do.